In April of 2020, IMDb TV announced the return of the Leverage crew in a revival series titled Leverage Redemption. I'm a big fan of the Leverage show, as it seemingly combined the heist elements of a movie like Ocean's 11 with the lovable ensemble we see from shows like Psych. To this day, Leverage is one of the most popular, well-received videos on this channel. The return of Leverage was left with many questions, with the biggest inquiry surrounding the show being as good as we remember. Thankfully, my friends at IMDb TV and Amazon Studio sent me the first 8 episodes to review for you today. For now, let's see if Leverage Redemption can steal your heart like its predecessor. Also, stay tuned at the end of the review for some spoiler-free answers to questions you guys asked. Leverage Redemption takes place 8 years after the series finale of Leverage. The gang is once again drawn back together to help friend in need Sophie. In the short quest to make her happy via art thievery, they stumble into lawyer Harry Wilson, played by Noah Wiley. It isn't long before the team, matched with now ex-lawyer Wilson, are out to make amends for Wilson's past and seek redemption by plotting against the rich and powerful. Along the way, they're helped by Hardison's foster sister and hacker Brianna Casey, played by Elise Shannon.
These bad guys are worse than ever.
When did I, a corporate lawyer with 15 years of experience, suddenly become a jaunty cat burglar stealing from the rich?
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Now, let's start out of the gate with the positives and say that Leverage Redemption embodies the former series. The music cues, the flashbacks, the evil rich bad guys who twist their mustaches, and the wacky ways the teams con them is all here. From the moment you hear the Leverage music, you can't help but smile.
We should steal something.
That's it.
Each episode starts out with that familiar format of helping a client in need and stumbling into a powerful person abusing their position. The team behind the camera stuck true to the if it isn't broken, don't fix it mentality, and I'm glad they did. True to form, the team avoided making the show feel mature beyond its means, something I noted was a concern in my wishlist video. The show doesn't feel like a tonal change from the original Leverage, and that honestly made me quite happy. Everyone on the Leverage team slips comfortably back into their shoes. Elliot still kicks a load of ass. Hardison is as nerdy and hunky as ever. Parker is a supreme cat burglar and now can act as well as anyone on the team. Sophie is still the sharp grifter she always was. The camaraderie between the gang fuels the show when the show does go into a bit of a slump, with conversations involving the usual Star Trek references or mentioning of previous cons.
Because you stopped returning our calls. Elliot was very worried.
I'm gonna cut this with some food.
The 2 new additions of Brianna Casey and Harry Wilson add some new layers, with Wilson almost playing as an audience surrogate for the show rather than a replacement role for Hutton.
Someone's gonna have to explain this whole phrasing terminology thing to me.
The bones are there for some gratifying, interesting story developments, but for now, everything is unfortunately just surface level. The cons are still pretty interesting, with one episode in particular hitting a bit close to home, with a condo developer ignoring safety regulations and his negligence getting several people killed. Unfortunately, not everything is sunshine and rainbows with the show. Once again, as I state quite often, viewer mileage will vary. I'm a huge fan of Leverage and came into this show expecting quite a lot. If anything, my review should come as a bit of an adjustment for you, the viewer. The show's first 10 minutes gets off to a rocky start, and in my opinion, won't just bother some people, but will downright piss off quite a few people. I distinctly remember eating, stopping, and going, wow, I don't like this. The explanation for Nathan Ford not being a part of the team is a bit appalling, and the writing bounces around it all season. Furthermore, the gap in time of 8 years, as well as the placement of the crew, makes things a bit confusing. The writing suggests you feel one way, while the show's direction and tone feels completely different. Ford's absence was expected, as is Hardison's, but to the level of Hardison's was a bit shocking. In fact, Hodge is in a total of 2 episodes, with his name being occasionally mentioned in future ones. It goes without saying that my favorite 2 episodes of the show might be the ones where he's present, not just because of Hodge specifically, but because the dynamic of Leverage remains intact despite the disappearance of Nathan Ford. The writing is cute enough to let you know, via an Elliot line drop, that Hardison's temporary relocation is just that, temporary. Of the two new additions, Wilson remains probably the most intriguing, but also the most frustrating. As projected in my video, the redemption title is entirely based on Wilson coming to terms with his evil dealings and making right by it. The ironic spin was that Nathan Ford was a good guy that became a bad guy to do good things. Harry Wilson is a bad guy that became a good guy to do good things. Unfortunately, his character backstory and motivations leaves a lot to be desired. Those expecting some sort of special appearance or some sort of surprise will be disappointed, but that could be possibly saved for the second part of this season. The 8 episodes are still entertaining. Elliot is still the older brother we all expected. Parker is evolved to be more than just a cat burglar, but for some reason, her being the mastermind has all but been forgotten. Sophie feels a bit more complex, but her character's depth is tied to Ford, which is frustrating in itself. While each episode will entertain you and make you smile, none of these would grace the top 20, 30, or maybe even 40 episodes of Leverage.
Parker,
Is that my watch?
he's not going to learn unless he does it himself.
In conclusion, Leverage Redemption is an unexpected return. Unfortunately, that return is met with many asterisks that will force fans to accept the future that they might not be entirely okay with. Thankfully, each episode has an entertaining moment, with a few heartwarming moments that also made me smile. The additional cast means that there is story to explore in the future, even if at their current state they're half-baked. Regardless, fans should be happy about the return of the crew and what it could mean for the future of the franchise. As promised, here are some questions that my amazing subscribers asked. The following answers won't feature spoilers. Eileen H. asks if Jonathan Frakes, Commander Riker, will have a role in front of the camera. As far as I could see, no. Frakes did direct an episode though. David asks how do they handle Hardison and Nate being gone. Hardison is handled well for the most part. He's only in 2 episodes, but it is teased pretty heavily that he had something much more important to do. Nate being gone, I'm not a fan, and I don't think anyone will be, mainly because there just is so much that doesn't make sense to him not being there. Aniket Patel asks if they're going overboard bringing the show into the world, and who is the mastermind that Nate is not there. They don't go overboard bringing the show to the new world. I don't feel like there's a total change to what the original Leverage was, and nothing should be off-putting. Sophie is now the new mastermind, with no real mention of Parker taking the place as she was trained by Nathan at one point. I hope these answer some of your questions. Be sure to let me know what you think of the Leverage Redemption return. Be sure to smash the like button and comment what you think of the show. As usual, big thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.